Hi everyone, it's Peg, and today I have been absent for a couple of days. Sorry about that. It isn't that I've really been absent, it's that I haven't been anywhere where I could videotape. So, um, yeah, I was busy with things for my husband. He needed some new eyeglasses, and we needed to, actually, I was working the elections. We had primary elections here, so um, I volunteer to work those elections. And so I haven't been idle. I've been busy. This is the page from last month. But as you can see, the direction I'm headed today is to do a new journal page. Now, I did start on some mixed media morsel stuff uh, while I was, idle when things were not happening. So, I started doing some torn paper strips and some backgrounds in here so that this is ready to go. And then um, this is my Black Delusions journal, and this is the June. It says glue down fragments of food can labels. Well, I just have a couple of labels here from things I've been serving my family this week. Yeah, not real exciting, but I do like the yellow. The red should be interesting too. So let's get started. I'm going to speed things up and start moving through these steps.
So far this has been about as exciting as mud. I'm using some black gesso now. The step 4, number 2 says add a thin coat of gesso. So that's what I'm doing. Well, you know me, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I see a lot of white gesso out there. I'm working in a Black Delusions journal, so I want to put black gesso down. Well, looks kind of like mud. And that's okay because I'm working with it because that's only step 2. Step 3 is make marks with household items. Well, I can think of a lot of household items, but the one that jumped into my hand was some wax paper because I'm down in the basement and I use wax paper sometimes. So I just crumple it up and I get out some Delusions paint and I'm going to apply that. Now, because there's yellow in the background, I decide that, yeah, yellow would work, right? Well, yes and no. It's pretty bright, and I'm not really sure where I'm going with it, and it's really thickened up, and yeah, it ends up kind of gloppy on the page, but that's okay too, right? This is where, you've got these intermediate steps, and they're not a major thing. It's just building up the layers. So I go ahead and complete putting that on there and move on to the next step. Well, the next step is adding splatters and drips of paint. Well, I have some splatter tool that I had made, and I have some Bombay India ink and some Delusions red, and so I'm going to go back to the red now because we were doing red and yellow with those papers that are in the background. And I'm thinking I'm creating a theme. Well, yes and no. I mean, I'm still not happy with it. I'm still saying, yuck, what kind of mess am I creating? I do like it when I hit it with the water and the stuff starts dripping down the page and I'm saying, ooh, drippage. Yeah, gotta like that. So, anyway, I'm thinking about now, where am I going to take this page? The whole thing is kind of a big blob of color right now, and what's going to pull all of that together? Well, the next step is collage words from magazines. Now, I don't collect a lot of magazine stuff. And occasionally I'll sit and cut some things out. And so I look through my pile and I find a couple of things. And I think, okay, inspirations, the mission inspiration. So I should put inspiration on the page, right? And then I found another one that says everywhere. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to be everywhere on this page because I need a lot of inspiration. So that's what I do is I pick out those two magazine pieces. Now, here you're going to see me make a big mistake because I used this liquid matte medium to put this stuff down with. I came up with a piece of tissue that I wanted to put down first, and then I put down these two words that I found, but because this stuff is so liquid, it just, it really doesn't work well with magazine pages. You know, I like to collage, but I typically use other types of paper than magazine paper. So anyway, I continue on in this same frame using the same liquid matte medium. You'd think I would have learned by putting the first two words down right. But the next part of this is your focal image. So I found this nice magazine picture of a cabbage. I like the cabbage caterpillar that's climbing on the cabbage, and I'm thinking, yeah, we could get some inspiration out of that. The caterpillars always turn into something beautiful, and I'm hoping this page turns into something beautiful because I'm still thinking, yuck, still got a mess. What am I going to do? This stuff isn't laying down. I'm working with the wrong medium. Okay, good thing it's in a journal and I'm not trying to create something really wonderful. So I'm going to trim that out, and the next part is to glue small circles of paper randomly. Well, I had these circles that I had punched out of some jelly prints that had been laying around for a while, so I thought, well, okay, time to use these up. It's got kind of a golden green, and that's the green-red combo on the page. And I'm thinking, well, those are complementary. That should work. So let's glue those down. But of course, this time I went and found some matte medium that was a little bit thicker, and I had a little bit better luck adhering those to the page. Now, I liked those. I liked how they were looking on the page, but I had a few other circles. I ran out of the green ones, and I had a few other circles in this other color. Decided I didn't like it. And, I'm still thinking back to the whole caterpillar butterfly thing, and I'm thinking I've surely got a butterfly someplace. I know my friend Patty had sent me a whole bunch of cool butterflies at one time, and lo and behold, there it was. I found a butterfly. So I thought, well, let's put that on there. Turn that caterpillar into that beautiful butterfly. So I pulled that out and decided to adhere it to the page. And I think I start going in a direction now, and I'm starting to like the page a little bit better because it's starting to make some sense. It's got some inspiration, it's got some cohesion because we got the caterpillar and the butterfly, and I'm saying, hey, this thing might come together yet. Now, the next step is to add stenciling, and I had this nice Julie Faye Finn Bowser stencil, and I've had some kind of chevron or triangular shapes in the background, so I thought, well, I'll just take some Dina Wakley paint and I'll stencil that into the background and brighten it up with some white paint. And then the next step is to add some stamps, and I thought, well, this thing really is kind of calling for a border, so I go and look, and yeah, I've got a border stamp, a Diane Reedley border stamp, and so I decide I'm gonna excuse me, I decide I'm gonna stamp that Diane Reedley border stamp, and because it's one of those things that you can doodle with, I thought, well, okay, if I stamp that around the edge, then I can do a whole bunch of doodling around the edge of the page. Well, I really get into the doodling. I really get carried away, and I've got, triplicate doodle border on this thing. You'll see it just seems to go on and on and on. And I'm still thinking, I need something more than stamps and doodling and I thought, well, I could, with this one, I could write in that doodle space that I'm creating, but no, I just come in with my, what are those called? They're a Montana paint pen. I really like the Montana acrylic paint pens. They're big, they're wide, they're bold. So if you're looking for a nice bold one, you can do that. But I don't know where this went. I think the border is a bit overdone. Yeah. So anyway, continue to stamp, continue to stamp, continue to stamp, and I'm saying, what am I going to do with this page? So I just keep working it, or overworking it, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm thinking, I've got cabbage. It's supposed to be a food thing. I should probably stick with the food thing. Oh, yeah. And I start thinking back to my childhood, and I think about, my mom and my dad, and how, we were very frugal. We grew our own stuff in the garden, and made a lot of things from scratch because, you know, they grew up in a time where it was depression and, post-war, and there was rationing, and you had to be real careful about what you were eating, what you were serving, and so we made a lot of things. We did canning, um, and I started thinking about the whole food aspect of the page. Well, my good friend Cheryl had kind of got me going in that direction too, because she'd been talking about peanut butter and jelly, and if you haven't seen her page, you ought to go over there and check it out, because it's really a cute one. And I'm thinking, okay, cabbage. And it kind of looks like a rose, because cabbages are kind of like flowers. And I start to think about it, and I think, well, I remember a saying that I had heard. I can't remember when. It's just one of those things that you think about. And I thought, well, maybe I should do something more with the caterpillar. So, I took out pens and I drew around stuff with Poscas, and I, used my Stabilo all to deepen and highlight, and I'm still thinking about it. And then I come up with a brilliant idea. I take some of that paint and I create a place on that bottom cabbage leaf with that paint, so I've got a place to go with what my saying is going to be. So I'm not going to make you struggle through all of that doodling, because you can see I really went overboard. I'm still doodling, doodle 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 doo. And wow, I can't even tell you how long I spent on that, and I still didn't like it. But I did do a border, right? And I do have a place to put my saying. So, you're probably wondering what that saying is all about. Well, my cabbage that looks like a rose reminded me of this saying, and the saying is, roses may smell better than cabbage, but cabbage will make better soup. And it just made me smile, because we all know how stinky cabbage can get when you're cooking it. And I'm thinking of smelly cabbage in my soup, and roses and caterpillars and butterflies, and now the page is starting to make me happy, even with all the doodling. So that's it, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I really hope you go visit the Mission Inspiration and watch a bunch of other videos from Mike and all the other people that are doing fun pages. So I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.